Hello and welcome, I'm Nikita Kapoor and you're watching the Daily Jagran. In this special segment, I will take you through some of the top stories making headlines today. Let's begin. A chilling twist in the already explosive Israel-Iran conflict just when the world believed the United States had delivered a decisive blow. New intelligence suggests Iran may have pulled off a masterstroke. Did Iran outwit the world's most powerful military? Did it sneak out its nuclear right under America's nose? Brace yourself, because what you are about to hear could change the entire narrative of this unfolding crisis. Three nuclear facilities, Fordo, Natanz and Isfahan, came under fire, a fiery retaliation launched by the Trump administration after Tehran's missile barrage on Israeli territory. The message from Washington was loud and clear: obliterate Iran's nuclear capabilities. And that's what President Donald Trump also claimed. And satellite images do back that up. The Fordo fuel enrichment plant, buried deep in a mountain south of Tehran, looked battered. But here is the real twist. Two senior Israeli officials have now told the New York Times that Iran may have quietly moved hundreds of kilograms of enriched uranium before the bombs fell at the nuclear sites. That's right, intelligence now indicates that Iran removed uranium enriched to 60% purity, dangerously close to weapons grade level, in the days before the strikes. We're talking about 400 kilograms of enriched uranium, enough potentially for multiple nuclear bombs if pushed to 90% enrichment. And here's the real kicker. Senior US officials, including Vice President J.D. Vance, have admitted that they don't know where that uranium is now. The Fordo facility, according to nuclear experts, could produce material for up to 9 nuclear bombs in less than a month, that too. And if Iran managed to relocate the material, it means that capability hasn't been destroyed. It is just hidden somewhere safe. A dangerous possibility emerges. While US applauded its surgical strike, did Iran just relocate the battlefield? Has the US unknowingly left the real threat untouched? Iran, after the airstrikes, was quick to say that there was no radiation leak because the facilities were empty. Back then, it seemed like typical damage control, but now the statement looks accurate. If these claims are true, US officials are probably scrambling for answers right now. Was there a leak in American surveillance? Were they too slow in launching attack, or did Iran simply predict the playbook, that to US playbook? See, Iran had enough time. Reports say the Trump administration delayed the strikes while debating whether to send US troops or not. And in that crucial window, Iran may have quietly moved its most precious nuclear stockpile. As the world focuses on the smoldering ruins of Fordo, the real nuclear may be elsewhere, unseen. And now, with no clear knowledge of where that uranium is, one terrifying truth remains: the bomb may be gone, but the countdown could still be ticking. A key global choke point, the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow but critically strategic stretch of water just 21 miles wide at its narrowest, but it carries the weight of nearly a fifth of the world's oil. And now it is under threat. Amid rising tensions in West Asia, the conflict between Iran and Israel has intensified, and following US airstrikes on Iran's nuclear facilities, Tehran is signaling what could be a move with massive global consequences: the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. So the big question we're asking is, if the strait shuts down, how badly will India be hit? To understand the gravity, let's look at the numbers. Very important. India imports about 5.5 million barrels of crude oil every single day. Out of that, nearly 2 million barrels travel through this very Strait of Hormuz. That's roughly 40% of our crude supply, coming from Gulf nations like Iraq, Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Kuwait. If those shipments are blocked or delayed, it's not just our oil companies, but our wallets that could take a hit. Think fuel prices, transportation, power generation, even industrial output, all of it could feel the ripple effect of just one strategic closure. But there's a twist. Despite the heavy dependence on the Middle East, India's energy basket today is more diversified than ever. Let's take a closer look. Russia, now one of India's top oil suppliers, does not use the Strait of Hormuz at all. Its crude arrives via routes like Suez Canal, the Cape of Good Hope, or even the Pacific Ocean for that matter. Qatar, India's principal LNG or liquefied natural gas supplier, also bypasses the strait thanks to alternate sea routes. In addition, India sources LNG from Australia, the United States, and of course Russia. So while our crude imports from Iraq and partially from Saudi Arabia may take a hit, India is not completely exposed. Yes, global oil markets could get volatile. Prices may spike, but temporarily. But India might avoid the worst case scenario thanks to this smart mix of energy partnerships. Also, government agencies and public sector oil firms have maintained strategic reserves that can cushion any short-term disruption. However, while India may not be the first domino to fall, it won't walk away untouched. The United States administration has issued a fresh warning for its citizens planning to travel to India. And this time it comes with a sharp caution. Women should not travel alone in India. Yes, you heard that right. This is the advisory. This advisory was reissued by the US State Department after a periodic security review. And it once again places India under a level 2 advisory, which means exercise increased caution. The warning, however, goes a step further this time with a specific emphasis on women's safety, citing the rising number of violent crimes, including sexual assault and rape, particularly in tourist-heavy locations. The advisory reads, and I quote, "Rape is one of the fastest growing crimes in India. Violent crimes, including sexual assault, occur at tourist sites and other public areas." This is what the advisory read. And it doesn't stop there. The State Department has advised American citizens to stay away from popular tourist spots, transportation hubs, marketplaces, malls, and even government buildings, labeling all of them as potential targets for terrorist activity. This is not the first time such a warning has been issued. In fact, India has consistently been placed at level 2 by the United States since 2022, with similar alerts issued in March, July, October 2022, and repeatedly through 2023 and 2024. But the explicit caution this time, especially targeting women, has turned global attention back to the issue of women's safety in India. Let's break that down. The advisory highlights that violent crimes and terrorism occur in India. And while it acknowledges that large parts of the countries remain safe for travel, it singles out rural areas, noting that the US government's ability to offer emergency services in such regions of India is limited. In short, if something goes wrong in remote parts of India, help might not come quickly, is what United States is saying. Another flashpoint in the advisory is Jammu and Kashmir. The US has explicitly warned citizens to avoid traveling to the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, excluding Eastern Ladakh and Leh, citing terrorism and civil unrest. This comes after Pahalgam terror attack. So what does this mean for India? For a country that's pushing hard to boost tourism and position itself as a safe destination for global travelers, this advisory is, well, a reputational setback. It also revives long-standing concerns about gender-biased violence in India. Remember, incidents of violence against foreign women in India have made international headlines in the past, unfortunately. Cases of solo travelers facing assault, harassment, and even rape have led several countries from Australia to the UK to issue similar advisories in the past. While advisories like these are standard diplomatic protocol, they do carry weight. They can impact tourism, numbers, business travel, and even India's global image as a destination for culture, heritage, and adventure. One of Punjabi cinema's biggest franchises is back, but with much more controversy. Actor, singer Diljit Dosanjh's much-anticipated film Sardaar 3 is all set to hit theaters on June 27, but only overseas. The film is not releasing in India, and the reason? Probably Pakistani actress Hania Amir. Yes, you heard that right. The film stars Hania Amir, one of Pakistan's most popular young actors, and that's where the controversy begins. Her presence in the film has reportedly led to Sardaar 3 being denied a release in India due to the ongoing unofficial ban on Pakistani artists in India. Let's break it down. On Sunday, Diljit Dosanjh dropped the trailer of Sardaar 3 on his own social media with a caption that made it crystal clear. He said, and I quote, "Sardaar 3 releasing 27 June overseas only." That was the first official confirmation that the film would not hit Indian screens. The trailer link on YouTube, geo-blocked in India. If you try to watch it from India, you are greeted with a message that says the uploader has not made this video available in your country. That's right, you cannot even watch the trailer from India, although interestingly, the songs and teasers are available to Indian viewers. So what's really going on? The unofficial industry ban on Pakistani actors and musicians, artists came into effect after the Pahalgam terror attack and escalating tensions between India and Pakistan. Filmmakers and producers in India have been discouraged, if not outright warned, from collaborating with Pakistani artists. And Diljit's decision to cast Hania Amir is now being seen through that very lens. Hania Amir has a massive following in Pakistan and has recently gained popularity in India too. But her casting in a mainstream Punjabi film alongside Diljit at a time of national grief has derailed her chances in Indian industry. Now, to be clear, this is not a government ban. There is no official censorship here. The film has not been stopped by the censor board, but Sardaar 3 has not even submitted for certification in India because the producers never planned a domestic release. Insiders say they anticipated backlash and decided to release the film only in overseas markets where the diaspora remains a very strong fan base of Diljit's brand of Punjabi comedy and music. The film itself is a horror comedy satire about ghost busting, a continuation of the hit Sardaar franchise that made Diljit Dosanjh a household name. So what we do now is this: Sardaar 3 will not be showing in India, not in your nearest cinema, at least not anytime soon. And whether that's a loss for cinema or a win for national sentiment is a debate that's far from over. Monsoon has unleashed chaos and panic in Gujarat. Surat, one of the state's most prominent cities, is battling flood-like situation, not just rain. Streets have turned into rivers, vehicles lie submerged, and ground floors of apartments are swamped. The visuals are both alarming and all too familiar, unfortunately. It began with what seemed like a regular spell of monsoon rain, but in just a matter of hours, the situation spiraled out of control. Surat received incessant rainfall, and what followed was a flood-like situation in several parts of the city. Traffic was crippled, daily life thrown off balance, and residents, especially in low-lying areas, forced to wade through knee-deep water. In localities like Daboli and Varacha, water did not stop at gates. It entered homes. Images and videos from the city show ground floor apartments inundated, household items floating, and residents desperately trying to salvage what they can. Schools in multiple districts, including Surat, have declared a precautionary holiday. Authorities have requested residents to stay indoors unless absolutely necessary. In Valsad district, tragedy narrowly missed. A van was swept away by the raging Kharela River, swollen due to the heavy downpour. Search and rescue teams have been rushed to the spot. And this isn't over yet. The Indian Meteorological Department has sounded the alarm, issuing an orange and red alert for several parts of Gujarat over the next 48 hours. The forecast? More rainfall with possible flash floods, severe waterlogging and disruptions to road and rail networks too. This has put the district administration on high alert once again. Teams from the National Disaster Response Force NDRF and the State Disaster Response Force SDRF have been deployed across vulnerable regions. They're armed with boats, emergency kits and relief materials. But here's the larger question. How prepared are our cities to deal with the fury of the monsoon? Every year we see the same images: flooded roads, stranded citizens, submerged cars, and every year governments promise better drainage, better planning, and better preparedness. Yet time and again nature reminds us preparation on paper means little when the waters rise. Well, this is all I have for you in this special segment. For more news and updates, subscribe to the Daily Jagran. You can also log on to thedailyjagran.com. Thanks for tuning in. This is Nikita Kapoor signing off.